In this subject, we have divided our course into 8 modules, and depending on the topic contents, each module again have been divided by few lectures. Finally, I have planned to complete the course of Control System 1 by 25 lectures.
Hello, my dear students. In the last lecture, I have discussed the Nyquist criterion. Today, I am starting 19th lecture of course on control system 1. Now, in the present lecture, I am going to discuss Nyquist plot and some numericals and problems.
I will try to cover Nyquist plots. Course outcome. Understand the concept of feedback system and controllers, design compensators in frequency domain. Objectives. After studying this chapter, student will be able to understand the Nyquist plots of the system and representation, its frequency response characteristics, and determine the stability of frequency response system. Nyquist path or Nyquist contour. In order to apply Nyquist, we make a special choice of closed contour in the S-plane. This contour is known as Nyquist contour or Nyquist path. This is shown in figure A. The Nyquist contour is so chosen that it encloses the entire right side of the imaginary axis in the S-plane. It composed of 3 segments C1, C2 and C3. The first segment C1 is the imaginary axis from 0 to j omega, and the segment 2 is a semicircle of radius is infinite that encloses the entire right half of S-plane, and segment 3 is the imaginary axis from minus j infinity to 0. Then it is a create a closed contour in the S-plane. Nyquist stability criterion. In order to apply the Nyquist criterion is given by n equal to z minus p, where n is the number of encirclement of point minus 1 plus j0. This point is known as critical point, and this z is the number of characteristic zeros on the right half of S-plane, and this p is the number of open loop poles of GSHS on the right half of S-plane. We know that to make a closed loop system stable, there must not be any characteristics zeros in the right half of the S-plane. Therefore, z equal to 0. that is n equal to minus p. If p not equal to 0, then for closed loop system to be stable, because n equal to minus p, which means that we must have counterclockwise encirclement of minus 1 plus j0 point, that is the locus, this capital gamma gh, this contour will encirclement of point minus 1 plus j0 n times in the direction opposite to the direction of the Nyquist contour in C in the S plane. If t equal to 0, that is open loop transfer function has no poles in the right hand half of the S plane, then n equal to 0, for a closed loop system, this z equal to 0, so the system is stable. That means there must not be any encirclement of the minus 1 plus j0 point by GSH's locus. The Nyquist stability criterion can be stated as if the closed contour gamma gh of the loop transfer function GSH's in the GSH's plane corresponding to the Nyquist contour in the S plane, encirclement of minus 1 plus j0 in the counterclockwise direction as many times as right half of S plane of GSH's, then the closed loop system is stable. For an example, when a system has one open loop right hand side pole, that means p equal to 1, and has a 1 counterclockwise encirclement, then n equal to minus 1, then the number of loops is z equal to 0. Therefore, there is no closed loop pole are present right hand side of the S plane. Then system is stable, and there will be two closed loop pole are present in the right hand side of the S plane, then the system is unstable. On the other hand, when a system has one open loop pole are present right hand side of the pole, then p equal we can write 1, and has one clockwise encirclement of the minus 1 plus j0 point, then n equal to 1. So z equal to 2. That means two characteristic zeros are present right hand side of the S plane. Two characteristic zeros means two closed loop poles are present right hand side of the S plane. Then the system is unstable. Mapping of Nyquist path or Nyquist contour. Then first I will discuss mapping of section C1 and mapping of section C3. In section C1, the value of omega varies from 0 to infinity. The locus of G, S and H's, that means that point is imaginary axis. So S equal to put j omega. So all poles are present at the imaginary axis. Then we get G, j omega and H, j omega. the locus of G omega and H j omega as omega varies from 0 to infinity, then will be the GSHS contour in GSHS plane corresponding to section C1 in S plane. This locus is the polar plot of G j omega, H j omega. So there are three methods of mapping of section C1. So put S equal to j omega in the transfer function of GHSH and then calculate the magnitude and phase angle of G j omega, H j omega for values of omega. That means omega varies from 0 to infinity, and sketch the actual locus of G j omega, H j omega. And third point is separate real and imaginary part of G omega, H omega and equating the imaginary part to 0 to find the omega at which the G j omega and H j omega locus crosses real axis. And similarly, equating the real parts to 0 to find the omega at which the G j omega and H j omega locus crosses imaginary axis. And this one is the section C3. Mapping of section C3, this omega varies from minus infinity to 0. The locus G j omega, H j omega as varies from minus infinity to 0 is the GSHS plane corresponding the section of C3 in S plane. The locus is the inverse of plot G j omega and H j omega. That means the inverse polar plot is given by mirror image of polar plot with respect to real axis. That means these two are in mirror image because these starting and ending point are same, and these two are mirror image with respect to real axis. Then I will discuss mapping of section 2. So this is section 2, C2. The section C2 Nyquist contour has a semicircle of infinite radius. That means R tends to infinity. Therefore, every point on section C2 has infinity magnitude, but the argument varies from plus 90 to 0 to minus 90. The mapping of section 2 from S plane to GSHS plane can be obtained by put S equal to R e to the power j theta, where R tends to infinity and theta varies from plus 90 to 0 to minus 90. So they consider a transfer function in time constant form. GSHS equal to k into 1 plus st1 into 1 plus st2 into 1 plus st3 divided by 1 plus sta into 1 plus stv into 1 plus stc. there are m zeros and n poles. So always is poles are greater than zeros. For investigating the stability using Nyquist criterion, the following procedure is: put S equal to r e to the power j theta, where limit r tends to infinity. So the term 1 plus st, that means this is general form, can be approximated to st. Why? Because r tends to infinity. So compare this 1, this is negligible. That means neglected. So this term equal to approximately we can write st. That means from this equation we get k into st1 into st2 into s3t. Similarly sta into stb into stc. So this is equal to, we can write k into s to the power a. That means this is zeros and this is s to the power n. That means number of poles. So this is equal to s n minus n. Okay, then if put s equal to r into e to the power j theta, limit this value, then here r e to the power j theta n minus n. Then if theta equal to, consider pi by 2 to 0 and this is the minus pi by 2. Then if r tends to infinity, then this, what is the magnitude? This magnitude is 0. But this angle is e to the power minus j, theta is pi by 2 and this is n minus m. Similarly, this angle is minus pi by 2. So minus minus plus. So this angle is plus j pi by 2 into n minus m. So from these two equations, we can conclude that the section 2 of Nyquist contour plot in the S-plane can be mapped into the GSHS plane. Since we are interested in the encirclement of the point minus 1 plus j0. This part C2 Nyquist plot is not required for determining the stability of this system, because this magnitude is always 0. So that's why this is not required for determining the stability of this system. But always we can calculate this value for section C2 and draw the figure in the GSHS plane. Numerical solution, problem 1. Open loop transfer function of a unity feedback system is GSHS equal to S plus 2 divided by S plus 1 into S minus 1. Comment on the stability. So always draw this Nyquist contour in the S plane. So this is C1, this is C2 and C3 path. So always remember that for a closed contour, this end of the C1 path and starting of the C2 path are same. Similarly, this end of the C2 path and starting of the C1 path are same. Similarly, this end of the C3 path and starting of the C1 path are always same. So our aim is that this closed contour of S-plane can be mapped into the GSHS plane. So first consider the C1 path. It is polar plot. So first put S equal to j omega in the transfer function. So S equal to j omega plus 2, j omega plus 1 into j omega minus 1. This is the first part of the polar plot. Then calculate the magnitude. Magnitude means taking mod of this. So root of r real part square plus imaginary part square. So this is 4 plus omega square. Next one is this is real part is 1 and this imaginary part is omega square. Similarly, real part is 1 and imaginary part is omega square. That means j omega square means j square is minus 1. So whole square, that means plus 1. So that's why we can write this is omega square. Clear? Then find the magnitude when omega varies from 0 to infinity. Then create this table. Then write down this is magnitude and this is theta. That means angle, phase angle. When omega equal to 0, that means what is the magnitude? Put here 0, then 0, 0, 0. Then we get this magnitude is 2. When put omega equal to infinity, then this value is infinity, so this is infinity. That means infinity by infinity. So this is undefined. That's why taking omega common from denominator and numerator. That means omega root over 1 by 1 plus 4 by omega square. Similarly, omega common from this part and another omega common from this part. So this is omega square. Then we get this equation 1 plus 1 by omega square and this is also 1 plus 1 by omega square. Then put omega equal to infinity. Then this part is 0. Okay. Similarly, here put omega equal to infinity. Then this part is 1. Omega equal to infinity. So this part is 0. So this is 1. And this 1 omega and omega square. 1 is a cancel. Then we get 1 by omega. Then you put omega equal to infinity. Then this result is 0. Then we can write this is 0. Then find phase angle. Theta equal to angle of g j omega and h j omega. That means tan inverse imaginary part by real part. Here imaginary part is omega and real part is 2. That means tan inverse omega by 2. And similarly this side tan inverse imaginary part, that means y by x. So imaginary part is omega, real part is 1. Another angle is tan inverse imaginary part is omega and here real part is minus 1. Okay, we know that if any angle phi equal to phi 1 into phi 2, then it can be written as phi 1 plus phi 2. Similarly, if any angle phi equal to phi 1 by phi 2, then it can be written as phi 1 minus phi 2. So where these two angle is multiplied. So that means this angle plus this angle. And these two are divided. So this angle is this minus this angle minus this angle. And this angle is tan inverse omega by minus 1. This is imaginary part, that means omega, and real part is minus 1. That means this is the negative real axis. So this is minus 1. So the angle is theta 1. Then theta 1 is equal to this total angle is 180 and this angle is phi. So theta 1 equal to, we can write 180 minus phi, and this phi angle is equal to tan inverse. This magnitude is omega divided by this magnitude is 1. So this angle is 180 minus tan inverse omega by 1. So written here, and then total angle is equal to tan inverse omega by 2 minus 180. Then if put omega equal to 0, then this angle is this tan inverse 0, that means 0. Then this angle is minus 180. And when omega equal to infinity, then this angle is 90. 90 minus 180. So this resultant angle is minus 90 degree. Then plot C1 path in GSHS plane. Then draw C1 path. This magnitude is 2 and angle is minus 180. And this is the starting point. And end point is magnitude is 0 and angle is minus 90. So C1 path, this is the starting point and this is ending point. This is minus 90. Then calculate C2 path. Put S equal to R e to the power j theta and limit R tends to infinity. So this result is R e to the power j theta plus 2 divided by R e to the power j theta plus 1 into R e to the power j theta minus 1. That means here we can write R e to the power j theta divided by R e to the power j theta into R e to the power j theta. So 1 is a cancel. So result is, if R tends to infinity, so this magnitude is 0 and this e to the power minus j theta. This is considered for phase angle. Then for C2 path, theta is write down plus 90 to 0 to minus 90. And from this equation, this theta is minus theta. Then this angle is minus into 90, that means minus 90. 0 into theta, that means 0 degree angle. And this is minus minus plus. Then this angle is plus 90. So starting point of C2 and ending point of C1 is same. Magnitude is 0 and angle is minus 90. So this is also magnitude is 0 and angle is minus 90. So this is the starting point of C2 and minus 92, this point is 0. Then this point is plus 90. This is the end of this C2 path. But these are in origin. And then draw C3 path. C3 path is mirrored image of C1 path. But this deduction is always opposite because this is starting of 0 to infinity and this starting of minus infinity to 0. Then find the stability of the system. This is GSH's plane. From this closed contour in GSH's plane, the number of encirclement of critical point, that means minus 1 plus J0, is 1, and this is direction is anti-clockwise. That means n equal to minus 1. So we know that this equation is n equal to z minus p. And here is the one right hand side open loop pole is exist. That means p equal to 1. Then we get z equal to 0. So the system is stable system. Z equal to 0 means there is no characteristic zeros are present in the right hand side of the S-plane. And another point, we know that characteristic zeros is equal to the closed loop poles. If no zero is present right hand side of the S-plane, that means no closed loop poles are present right hand side of the S-plane. Then the system is stable. Numerical solution problem 2. Sketch the Nyquist plot and determine the stability of a unity feedback control system. Here G is equal to K by 1 plus ST1 into 1 plus ST2 is given. Draw the closed contour in S plane. So this is C1, C2, C3 path. Then first consider section 1. That means C1. It is polar plot. So put S equal to J omega. Then we get K. There is no imaginary part. That means there is no S. So where imaginary part is equal to 0. Then write down K plus J0. And lower part is 1 plus J omega T1 plus J omega T2, and this is 1 plus J omega T2. Then calculate magnitude. So taking mod of G J omega. So this is only K, and this is root over 1 plus omega T1 whole square plus 1 plus omega T2 whole square. Then put omega equal to 0. Then find the magnitude. So this magnitude is K. Similarly, when put omega equal to infinity, then this magnitude is K by infinity. That means 0. Then calculate angle theta. Angle of G J omega equal to tan inverse y by x. That means imaginary part by real part. And imaginary part is 0 by k. That means this is also total 0. And this is tan inverse omega T1 by 1 into tan inverse omega T2 by 1. Then this angle is minus tan inverse this angle minus tan inverse omega T2 by 1. Then you consider when omega equal to 0, then what is the angle? 0. That means this is tan 0, 0. And this is also tan 0. That means 0. So this is the starting point. This is 0. And then put omega equal to infinity. This is the finishing point. Then infinity means minus 90 and this is also minus 90. So this resultant angle is minus 180. Then draw C1 path in GSHS plane. So starting point is when omega 0. Then what is the magnitude? K. And what is the phase angle? 0. Then put the first point, that means the starting point. This is 0 axis and magnitude is K. So this is the starting point. Then omega is increased and angle also increased. Then crosses minus 90 degree. Then this finishing point is magnitude is 0 but angle is minus 180. So this is the finishing point. So this one is the C1 path plot into the GSHS plane. Then calculate C2 path. So put S equal to R e to the power j theta. Then this is limit r tends to infinity k divided by 1 plus r e to the power j theta into t1 into 1 plus r e to the power j theta into t2. Then r tends to infinity, that means these 1 are neglected. Then we get k divided by r e to the power j theta into t1 into, for this part, r e to the power j theta into t2. If r tends to infinity, then this magnitude is 0. Then this phase angle is e to the power j theta into j theta. That means 2 j theta. So that means minus j 2 theta. Then write down theta equal to, always we know that plus 90 to 0 to minus 90. This is general form. And from this equation, we get theta equal to minus 2 theta. So write down minus 2 theta. That means 90 into minus 2, that means minus 180. And put here 0, that means 0. And 2 into minus 90, minus minus plus, so this is plus 180. Then draw C2 path. Starting point of C2 path is minus 180. This is angle is minus 180. And magnitude is always 0. So minus 180 to 0. So that means this deduction is anti-clockwise. Minus 180 to 0, then plus 180. Then plus 180. And this magnitude is always 0. Then draw C3 path. This C3 path is mirrored image of C1 path. So find the stability of the system. Then write down the equation is n equal to z minus p. Since minus 1 plus j0 point is not encircled by the closed contour. So n equal to 0 and there is no right hand side poles are present in the S plane. So p equal to 0. Then this result is z equal to 0. Z equal to 0 means there is no characteristic zeros are present right hand side of the S plane. That means no closed loop pole are present right hand side of the S plane. Then the system is stable. Please follow the next part of this lecture. The sources and references that I have used to prepare this video lecture are enlisted here.
Please follow the lecture. Thank you.